It started with a message on my wife's phone while she was in the shower. "I miss your smile," the preview read. I replied from her number. "Come over." "He's not home." 19 minutes later, I answered the door myself. Her face drained of color. His grin vanished. That's when everything changed. My name is Preston Walsh. I'm 44. I flip houses in the Chicago suburbs. 15 years ago I bought a rundown ranch in Neatville, turned it around for 30 grand and never looked back. Flipping houses taught me to read surfaces. It taught me to spot rot beneath fresh paint. It taught me that a foundation can look solid while crumbling underneath. I should have used those skills on my marriage sooner. It was a Wednesday in late September. Courtney was humming in the shower while I folded laundry. Steam leaked under the bathroom door. Her phone buzzed on the nightstand. Once. Twice. I glanced at it without thinking. The notification showed the sender, Austin Reynolds. "I miss your smile." Austin, a 33-year-old coworker in training. The guy she'd mentioned as someone going through a rough divorce. Just someone to talk to, she'd said. Nothing to worry about. The water was still running. She didn't suspect a thing. I picked up her phone. No passcode. No privacy in 8 years. I opened the messages. The thread told a story I already feared. Professional inquiries became compliments. Compliments turned intimate. Good morning texts became inside jokes I wasn't part of. The tone shifted slowly over months. The last message, 2 days earlier, "Thinking about you constantly. This is getting harder to hide." Her reply, "I know. Me too." Then, "Tomorrow night." Tomorrow was Thursday. I typed from her phone. "Change of plans. Come over tonight. He's not home." I hit send, set the phone back on the nightstand, and kept folding. My pulse was steady. My mind was calculating 8 minutes later. Courtney stepped out of the bathroom in a robe and froze when she saw her screen. Her color went from warm to pale in a heartbeat. I asked casually, "Everything okay?" She lied. "Just a work thing. Nothing important." Then she vanished into the bedroom, clutching her phone. 19 minutes after that, the doorbell rang. I walked to the front and opened it. There he was. Austin Reynolds. With a bottle of wine and a confident smile that died as soon as he saw me. He was 11 years younger, dressed to look casual and confident, and standing on my porch like he belonged. He did not. "Wrong house?" I asked, voice level. He stammered, eyes flicking past me for Courtney. I invited him in. He didn't step forward. Smart man. He recognized a trap. Then Courtney appeared, wet hair darkening her robe. She saw him. Panic replaced understanding. He blurted, "Courtney, did you?" She didn't answer. She stood, paralyzed. "Honey, your friend Austin is here," I said. "The one who misses your smile so much," she tried to explain. I listened. I had already read the messages. Months of texts. Plans for tomorrow night. Photos, hotel receipts. Marriott charge in Rosemont for a late night. Evidence. Everything was there. "You went through my phone?" She cried. "Yes." "Your unlocked phone, sitting on our bed," I said. "The one you never bothered to protect because you trusted me." Austin raised his hands. "I'm leaving." "This was a mistake," he said. It ran. The wine bottle slipped from his grip and broke on the driveway. Glass and red wine spread like a stain across the concrete. He peeled out in his car and was gone. Courtney packed a bag and left that night for her sister's house. I sat at the kitchen table until 3 in the morning, breathing. The house felt quieter, wrong than still. She called the next morning in tears. I let it go to voicemail and deleted the message without listening. I had work to do. Her phone was left behind. I backed up everything to my laptop. Screenshots of conversations. Photos she thought were deleted. Time stamps. Hotel bookings. Receipts charged to our joint card. I organized it into folders and built a timeline. I also pulled property files, LLC documents, trust statements, mortgage records. Real estate taught me how to protect assets. I had 2 rentals and an LLC. One in a trust. The primary house was joint, but mortgage payments had been coming from my business account. I had documentation. She wasn't on titles where it mattered. At 9-8-0 M, I called Margaret Hayes, my real estate attorney. I need a divorce attorney, I told her. Aggressive. I arrived at her office at 2 with everything. Margaret reviewed the files, screenshots, receipts, hotel charges, the timeline. When she finished, she smiled. Your wife made this easy, she said. Illinois is no fault. Financial misconduct and using marital funds for an affair matter. Margaret recommended a separation agreement first. Offer her temporary housing in one of my rentals at a fair market rate. Make the terms strict cohabitation clauses. Penalties. She'll sign it thinking it's temporary. She won't see the full consequences coming. 2 days later, complaint from Riverside Community Management landed in my inbox. Noise at 11 p.m. on a weeknight. An unauthorized silver Honda Accord parked overnight in guest spots. The photos were time-stamped and geotagged. Austin's car. Perfect leverage. I forwarded everything to Margaret with one line. Leverage. We drafted the separation agreement. It offered Courtney a furnished 2-bedroom townhouse in Wheaton for $1,500 a month. Utilities in her name. A no cohabitation clause. Triple rent and possible eviction for violations. I watched her sign after 2 hours of crying and negotiation. Margaret shut down every objection. She moved out on a Saturday, exhausted and defeated. It's nice, she said quietly as she walked through empty rooms. I told her furniture arrived Monday. I handed her the keys in the folder of documents. First payment due on the 1st, I said. Utilities in your name. Gate code in the paperwork. Lied about property management. It was just me and a virtual assistant. I didn't think she needed to know that. 2 weeks later, she called. I'm pregnant, she whispered. The world narrowed. I did the math. We hadn't slept together in over a month. The timing made it clear. It's not mine, I said. She begged me to tell Austin. I told her to call him. This is his problem, I said coldly. And be sure your rent is on time. I called Margaret and told her. Pregnancy from an affair changes things, she said. DNA later. For now, file papers and push for enforcement. By the next morning, Margaret had papers ready. Threatening emails started 3 days after Courtney told Austin. Anonymous warnings. Back off, they said. You'll regret it. I forwarded them to Margaret. The content and timing looked like Austin. We documented everything and didn't respond. We filed for a restraining order when threats escalated. I hired a private investigator. Frank Delgado, a former Chicago PD detective. Frank dug into Austin's past. He found short stints at multiple companies and a sealed settlement from a termination in 2022 related to harassment. Frank found a pattern. Boundary violations, unwanted advances, a younger woman who left after reporting him. Frank built a file HR in Austin's workplace, started an investigation. Within weeks, he was fired. 2 other complaints surfaced. His career in corporate training collapsed. He sent more threats. We saved them. Margaret filed for a restraining order. It was granted within a week. Austin was ordered to stay 500 feet away from me, Courtney. Any property I owned. Then late one November night, Courtney called from the hospital. She was bleeding and in pain. I drove through the dark and arrived within 12 minutes. She was pale, crying and terrified. The doctors confirmed a miscarriage. The pregnancy was no longer viable. She sobbed. I felt something shift, not forgiveness, but a moment of human compassion. I stayed with her until she slept, then left quietly. 3 weeks later, my brother Daniel reached out. He'd heard Courtney's version of events. We met and I told him everything. He listened and asked one question that rattled me. What's your end game? He pointed out that winning in court wouldn't heal me. He suggested mercy might bring peace, not for her sake, but for mine. I went to church the next Sunday with Daniel. His sermon balanced consequences with compassion. After Mass, Courtney and I spoke briefly. I told her the divorce would proceed and the lease would remain. I also told her Austin filed Chapter 7 bankruptcy. He was broke, living with his parents. His career destroyed. You'll be on your own, I said. Handle it. Divorce was finalized on a cold Tuesday in February. Courtney signed without contest. She received minimal assets and no spousal support. I kept the house, most of the rentals, and retirement accounts. Austin's bankruptcy closed his chapter. He moved back to Wisconsin and worked retail. The restraining order stayed. Courtney paid rent on time for 8 months, then gave notice. She moved to Indianapolis for a new job and a fresh start. I never spoke to her again after she dropped off the keys. She paid the settlement on schedule. When the final payment cleared, I deleted her contact. I threw myself into work. I flipped more houses, bought a small commercial building, and kept moving. 10 months later, I met Rachel at a charity auction. She was 38, a pediatric nurse, steady and honest. We took it slow. Coffee dates, long talks, no pressure. 18 months after the divorce, we were building something real. Daniel asked me once, "Are you happy?" I thought of Rachel, the projects, and the peace I'd found when I stopped scheming for revenge. "Yes," I said, "I think I am." I never spoke to Courtney again. I didn't need to. The victory in court was small compared to the life I rebuilt. I learned that justice can be sharp, but peace comes from letting go. When I look in the mirror now, I recognize the man I've become. That was worth more than any win.